And welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be running through some of the common words that you probably hear in the fitness industry, whether it's on my social media pages or other fitness influencer social media pages. So that way, when you are looking through their workouts and kind of through their programs that you're using, you know exactly what those words mean and what you're supposed to be doing once you see those words. So without further ado, let's dive right into this video. Okay, so one of the biggest questions that I get in terms of terminology is when people use the terms push versus pull. You'll often hear this in terms of someone doing a push or a pull day. Often people refer to them as push upper body or pull upper body days. However, lower body can be incorporated into this as well. But for the purposes of going through it today and for the purposes of today's video, I am going to be talking about solely the upper body in terms of push versus pull. So push versus pull talks about what the muscle is doing during those days. So on a push day, it's all of your pushing muscles, and on a pull day, it's all of your pulling muscles. So on a push day, you're looking at working on your chest, triceps, and shoulders, and on a pull day, you're looking at your back and biceps. Once again, lower body can be incorporated into this as well, but for the most part, it's upper body focused when people talk about this, so I want to stick with that for solely this video. There's nothing pro or con doing a push-pull workout compared to like a shoulders and back workout where you'll mix the two of them together. But often you'll see a lot of people split their upper body days into push versus pull days. So now you kind of have a better idea that on your push days, you're working chest, triceps, and shoulders. And on your pull days, you're focusing more in on those back and biceps. The next one I wanted to go through is superset. So a superset is where you pair two exercises together and you will go back and forth between those two exercises for however many sets are prescribed to you. So for example, let's say my superset is bicep curls and tricep overhead extensions. Let's say I have 3 sets of them. You are going to do a bicep curl. Let's say you do 10 reps of a bicep curl. Then you are going to do 12 tricep overhead extensions. Once you finish one set of that, you'll rest, recover, take a moment, and then you will go back to doing that bicep curl. So you will go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 for your 3 sets. You are just going back and forth. Lots of people love doing supersets because one, it really puts a strain on your body. I love training in supersets because it's minimal rest time. You're really pushing your body to a whole new level, but also it's a good way to save some time. So that like if you're in a rush, if you know you gotta be zippity-doo-dah in and out of the gym within 45 minutes to an hour, perfect way to save some time because you're combining 2 exercises into 1 set. Obviously, if you add a 3rd exercise in, no big deal. I've also trained in trisets. Then you would go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for however many sets that you're supposed to do it for. That is just considered a triset instead of a superset. Obviously, you guys also sometimes see in my workouts those giant sets. Same general concept. It's just a matter of how many exercises are being added in. Typically, a superset is just 2 exercises that you go back and forth between until you hit however many sets you're supposed to do. The next 2 that I wanted to talk about are ones that are relatively new for me, and that's a ramping set and a working set. So often you'll see me doing these for my major compound movements. So for, let's say, a barbell back squat, if I have a ramping set, let's say I have 3 ramping sets. What that means is you want to increase your weight each one of your ramping sets, increasing every single time, ramping up to your heaviest set. So let's say I have 3 sets of it. Every single time you want to be adding on a little bit more weight each set until you then hit your working set. So while your ramping set, you are going to be increasing your weight each set. Your working set, for the most part, you are going to be sticking at one consistent, probably pretty heavy weight for however many sets. So if you have 3 ramping sets, you're going to be increasing each of those ramping sets, and then your working set is going to be your heaviest set of the day. And even if you have 3 working sets, you're gonna stay at that same consistent weight unless told otherwise for those 3 working sets. Your ramping sets just allow you to work up to that working set without being like, boom, maxing out on my first try. It just gives you that little bit of like, let me get into it, ease my way into it, warm up a little bit before I go balls to the wall trying to beat my records. Speaking of records, the next 2 that I wanted to talk about, you'll often hear people talk about PRs and PBs. I use those terminologies sometimes on my page and on my channel. So a personal record is a PR, a personal best is a PB. They are the exact same thing. It just means it's the heaviest you've ever gone, the heaviest you've ever lifted. People just use PR or PB. They mean the exact same thing. It's just your personal best, or however, your personal record, the highest you've ever lifted. So nothing crazy in terms of those, but it's important to know when people use those terminologies. It's typically pretty exciting because you've been like, boom, I'm strong. I lifted the heaviest I've ever lifted. The next one I wanted to talk about is something that most people know by this point, but just want to cover all of my bases here because I got your back. It's HIIT. So HIIT is high intensity interval training. So HIIT is obviously an acronym, stands for high intensity interval training. When you see trainings that are like 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, or 40 seconds on, 20 seconds rest, those bursts of work and that little bit of rest time, high intensity interval, meaning some on, some off training. HIIT workouts are super great for when your focus is like burning calories, losing weight, because it's really messing with that heart rate. It's like, boom, going balls to the wall for 40 seconds, resting for 20. Boom, going balls to the wall for 20 seconds, resting for 10. Like, it really challenges your body, and HIIT training is one of those trainings that after you do it, you tend to burn a lot of calories the rest of the day because your metabolism is like soaring through the roof. So HIIT, your high intensity interval training, is something that you'll hear a lot about. A lot of people like to incorporate it into their workouts, but some people just do HIIT training altogether. That's all they do. The next one is an AMRAP. So AMRAP is another acronym, and it can stand for two different things depending on the circumstance. It can stand for as many rounds as possible or as many reps as possible. So for as many rounds as possible or as many reps as possible, let's say I set the timer for a minute. You want to try to get through as many rounds of these 3 exercises as possible in a minute. For as many reps as possible, let's say I set the timer for a minute. You want to try to do as many squats as possible in a minute. Both of them are fairly simple, fairly the same thing, but it kind of depends whether you're working off of like 1 or 2 exercises or for like rounds of exercises. Typically for AMRAPs, when there are as many reps as possible, you're working with just 1 exercise. When it's as many rounds as possible, you have multiple exercises that you're kind of working through. And last but finally not least, kind of covering all our bases today, I'm sure there are some that I'm missing, and if I did, just feel free to ask me down in the comments down below, and I'll try to cover them for you. But the last kind of common term that we use a lot in the fitness industry is a drop set. So let's say, for example, you are working through bicep curls, and you are doing 10 reps of bicep curls, and for a drop set, let's say that you do 10 reps of bicep curls at 25 pounds. Then you would do a lesser weight, let's say at 15 pounds for 10 reps as well. So you would drop your weight and continue to do more reps, really just burning out that muscle. I have done drop sets before where you'll do like 10 reps of an exercise and then back down to 10 at a lower weight, and then I'll go up to like 12 reps down to 10 reps at a lower weight, kind of really challenging your body, fatiguing the butt out of your body. So it is really nice because it's another great way just to challenge things up, mix your body, and confuse yourself. Also, something I remembered is during this course of the program, I've also used the terminology deload set. So while a ramping set increases up to your working set, after your working set, you may see a deload set. That means you're going to drop down your weight, and it will most likely tell you in your program how much, whether it's a percentage or an amount of pounds lower than your working set, and you may bang out 2 or 3 more sets at your deload set just to continue pushing your muscle, build that muscular endurance up, so then next week you're able to lift even heavier. Okay, I feel like I just talked at a million miles per hour. She's back from vacation and she's energized. She's ready. She's refreshed. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I wanted to keep this video short and sweet, but try to really bang out some of the basic terminologies that we use in the fitness industry, that I use constantly, and that I know other fitness influencers use, so that when you're looking through our programs, you can actually make sense of everything to make use of it on your own. So if there's anything that I'm forgetting, anything that you're unsure of, just anything you want to chat about, drop it in the comments down below and we'll have a little chat about it. But if this was helpful, and if you like this video, please make sure you go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Y'all already know it supports my channel. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification so you never miss another video that I post. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me on my Instagram so you can see other fitness, health, and lifestyle content that I post on there. And I will catch you guys here next time.